progress. In fact, we missed the lag. So, okay, this is Daniel Busch, and I'm with Dennis Dieckman, and we're watching this match in progress. We just missed the break off, and well, actually, no, we're in the second inning now. It's Jack Leitzinger versus Berkey KESKIN. KESKIN.
Yes, KESKIN.
And I'm sitting here with Dennis Dieckman, and we just finished watching the end of a match between Tom Rossman and Michael Wynn. So that's how he ended up a little late there. A little hook in his stroke. Did you notice that? Still, good hit.
Yep.
Very good billiard. I noticed that.
What?
I've seen it in Mercedes stroke, and I've seen it in a few other people's stroke. The little hook to the right or left.
Yes, it's a technique to
prevent
there's
follow through.
Well, there's a number of shots that, I mean, generally speaking, you want the cue to go straight through, right? However, there are times when you want to do other things that might be considered mechanically incorrect, and they actually are a technique that will help you make the shot. Okay, and it's very difficult to explain.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I understand. I mean,
you know, I have 3 different bridges and 3 different ways to hold the cue. And plus, you know, sometimes instead of keeping my hand on the table, I'll sort of shovel it up, as it were, and it's a technique that helps you. Jack's on the rail here. This is. Oh, this could be a Dieckman shot.
Yeah. Oh, is that what you call it, huh?
Yes. Well, that's the polite way to describe it. And Jack's a little embarrassed, but he better make 6 more off of this. I mean, one of my teachers said, when you shoot one of those, make 6 more, okay? Don't feel bad. So.
I'm not sure this was a good idea. I think he's going to feel so much pressure knowing that you're watching and commentating this match.
No.
Well, he'll come to the table with 1,
yeah.
so it's going to be 1 apiece. Third inning now. We're racing to 20 points, and let's see. Berkey has a long.
Yeah.
Go.
My question is, where's the yellow ball going to go?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he hit it.
He managed it. No, he managed it really well.
Yeah, with spin, I think.
And the speed was very good. Look at where the yellow is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And actually, he's in good shape here too. That was actually a very excellent shot.
Well, can I say one thing?
Absolutely.
There's no such thing as a safety in billiards, unless the only way you can play me safe, Daniel, is to take one of the balls off the table. Take the red ball off the table, put it in your pocket.
There you go.
Then I'm safe. And when someone says, well, I'm trying to play my opponent safe or hard, difficult, that's kind of a wrong attitude between the ears, because they're planning on missing, right?
Sure, yeah.
And if you plan to miss, I mean, that's not the point of the game, is to plan to make a ball.
I agree with you. You know, they say the same thing in pool, you know, like where people say, oh, you know, if you're going to miss this, you know, miss the pro side of the pocket, you know.
Well, I think he's on a 3 here.
He's on a 3.
Yeah,
he's on a 3. This is Berkey.
And he's got a very nice chance for 4 here.
Yeah, I bet Jack's going to wish he would ran 6 after that last.
Yeah.
This is not a difficult.
No, the ball's a little small down
Look
there.
Look at this. He's right on target.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A 4 is always good. A 4 is always good. Kuhlman once told me, 30 years ago when all I got to do was run 4 and play safe, you know, or play a difficult. You know?
Yeah.
And be happy with 4 every inning.
Even playing the caliber of players that exist today, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. Well, no, this was a long time ago.
Long time ago. Okay.
Well, he had to remake his game when Bloomdahl came out.
I bet.
As a teenager, that caused Ceulemans to just absolutely have to rethink his game.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what a great player he is, you know. And he just recently, did you hear that? He ran 22 maybe 6 months ago in some league game or something like that.
Raymond?
Yeah, 22 and out at 78 years old.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Ooh. He does, without criticizing, it's easy to criticize, but the Mr. Keskin seems to jump up just a little too quick. He should perhaps keep his bridge hand on the table just a little
just
longer.
a smidge longer.
Yeah.
Well, Jack missed the ball entirely there. He came back on the way down, but...
Well, my problem is now that sometimes I see 2 balls instead of 1, my vision. And so I don't know what ball to shoot at. But there's days that I see 3 balls, and then I know I shoot at the middle ball, and I generally get hits, you know.
That's the day you usually get cut off at the bar, isn't it?
No, it's just, you know, it's...
I'm just playing.
I know.
Mind you don't touch this here so that it doesn't make any noise. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, I digress.
Mm-hmm. No, the mental... Yeah, I'm a former member of the Professional Golfers Association also.
Oh, okay.
I did that for 20 years and other things before I really started making pool cues full time.
Yeah.
But the mental aspect of the game, the visualization.
Yeah.
And if you know, just for example in golf, if you're playing down a fairway, there's woods on both sides, and you say to yourself, well, I'm not going to hit it in the woods. That's the worst shot, because you're seeing your ball in the woods with this red circle with the diagonal on it, right?
Yeah.
And so you're visualizing your ball in the woods. And so when your ball ends up in the wood, so you've actually hit the shot that you visualized. So why didn't you visualize it in the middle of the fairway?
Yeah, it's that,
you know, it's very
self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's very hard to do. I mean, that's the difference between a decent player and, I mean, a really super player. And I can visualize in golf, but, you know, for some reason I've never been able to quite do that in a game of billiards. And we're ignoring these players. Jack is...
Well, Jack's trailing by 5 points. So
I know.
That's quite a gap right now, especially for this, you know, caliber of play.
Right. Although he's fairly experienced, and I believe he has a table in his house. So then where he lives, I think there's virtually no competition, you know.
Yeah.
But
well, I really like this this young man's demeanor here, this Berkey.
Oh yeah.
He has a tendency to I was going to say he has a tendency to use very much less stroke. Oh, I know.
I saw that coming. I was actually praying for that to make.
It was helping him and hurting him at the same time, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I see one thing Jack is doing that I tell people before you shoot, walk around the table.
I was just going to say, is he rushing a little?
You know, he just walked up,
got down and shot. Yeah, lined up and shot.
Walk around the table, take a few deep breaths, you know, stroke the cue a little bit, and just look at it from a few more angles, you know.
Yeah, because, you know, you never know if another higher percentage shot might even come up.
Right, you may see something that, oh, wait, you know, look at this.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
That was a, and the guy's got good speed.
Yeah, that's highly talented shot.
Keskin's got good, he's got very good speed.
Well, that's what I was trying to say about him earlier. I noticed his stroke seems very consistent. It seems like, you know, he's using the same sort of medium stroke every time, and that's actually very helpful in this game.
Looks like he's going to try the same shot again. Yeah, well, why not?
Well, hell, let's just look at it from another angle.
By God, nope. Oh,
just backed up out of the long rail, didn't it?
Yeah. Had that reverse on it. Pardon my French. So, this is camera one.
Well, for you, it's preview and all. I'm actually going, if you excuse me for a minute, I'm going to back this angle out so that we can get a third shot on this table.
You have, I believe Daniel has 3 cameras on the table. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, yep. And of course he can switch between them, and let's see, David B. Who's David B?
Dave B. Dave B, make yourself known.
I can't get my glasses on, so I can't read the.
Yeah. Age, race, location, please. So, I saw another billiard as I was down there in the trenches.
Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack.
That's going.
Yes. Yep. Just barely, but that's.
You know, he needs it any way he can get it right now. I tell you. But you're right. He needs to slow down a little bit. He needs to. You know, does that happen a lot? Where someone will, you know, get a significant lead ahead of you, and you just start. You stop thinking, and you just start getting down there and shooting.
Can I tell you a Mercedes and Hugo Patino story?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Come on, Jack, put it up. You got a point, Jack.
Yeah, you got a point.
Oh well. We'll just remember that in case it gets tight. Yeah. Okay. Look at how he's grinning.
He's grinning right now. He's like, you need every point you can get. But he's like, how did you fall asleep at the wheel there?
Right.
Anyway, so Tom Paley's in the chat room asking, who is that commentating? Come on, Tom. It's Daniel.
Tom has put me up more than once at his house. I'm good. I consider myself good friends with the family, and
great.
And it's and he's got a very nice table in his house also.
Yeah. That's Dennis Dieckman.
Yeah. For better or for worse, we're married for a while.
So
okay, the story.
Your Hugo and Mercedes story.
Right. This was 4 or 5 years ago in Super Billiards Expo.
Yeah.
When Paul Frankel hosted, and
New Jersey. I was there.
Yeah, it was. And Mercedes was just. There was some sort of. I forget what the format was, but I mean, it was all very, very good players. And Mercedes, of course, is U.S. champion. We held one tournament, and she got that honor, and the organization has never held another one. So she's de facto still U.S. champion. You know.
I believe Robert Byrne was there, too.
Oh,
was he not?
He
may have been. I don't know. You know, it was New Jersey. He's Ohio, so.
Yeah. But, so at any rate, Mercedes is just torturing Hugo.
Ah.
And I forget what, I think they're playing maybe 40 points. These were longer games, at least 30. And, I mean, he is so deep in the hole. It's just amazing. And so he calls a bathroom break.
Okay.
And it took him 45 minutes. He claimed that there was a long line in the bathroom, and sometimes, yes, the bathrooms at this place, sometimes they were overflowing.
Okay.
And there were long lines and everything.
Yeah.
But that cooled Mercedes Jets, and Hugo ended up winning that game. But I have never let Hugo. I call him Mr. 45 now, and he just laughs.
Mr. 45.
He just laughs.
That's funny. That's a funny story.
Well, it's true.
But he didn't cool her off enough, right?
Oh yeah, no, he won the game.
He won that game?
Oh yeah, he won it.
Oh my God.
Oh no, I came down.
That's terrible.
And Mercedes is sitting there, and I'm looking, and I'm saying, "What's happening?" He says, "Hugo is on bathroom break."
Yeah.
And I say, "Well," she says, "but he's been on it for 30 minutes." At any rate, Paul wants me to keep my voice down a little bit.
Paul is playing Mike Massey.
I know. Oh yeah, that's a very going to be. I think they're really evenly matched. Again, they're both about run 650. I would clock them at.
You know, every time I turn and look, this Keskin, Berkey KESKIN is.
Oh yeah, he's
scoring heavily.
9 and 12 innings. That's a decent average.
Yeah, he's on 10 now. He's got 10.
Okay.
Just scored another billiard.
Mm-hmm. And he has a chance here. Little short.
Yeah, too thin.
Oops, real short. But
you don't know what happened. I think he did that thing that you said. He got up too quick.
Mm-hmm. If we weren't on the air and there might be children listening, I would tell you how I describe that to my students, what they're doing.
Yeah, let's refrain on that.
It's involving shoveling a certain substance.
Yeah.
We'll let it go at that.
Cleaning the sheds.
Yeah, like what, Ulysses?
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh, I think this. Nah, I don't know how this is going to react. Oh yeah,
He's playing it.
Yeah.
Played it short.
Mm-hmm. I might have chosen a little different approach on that shot, but that was a good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had a good chance that way.
Well, he's playing the natural here, isn't he?
Well, and see, the problem with what he did by missing the shot,
he left him very
well.
easy.
You do not want to leave the red ball in the corner if you miss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm big like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you have a choice of off your opponent's ball or off the red ball,
you want to go off the red.
well,
Is that
well, the classic is shoot soft to the red.
Yeah.
Right, but then you can leave a marriage, and anybody like Kuhlman's skill ought to be able to, or even my skill. But, I mean, if you have a low percentage shot off the white, and the red is kind of really big in the corner, you better make the decision to play off the red and get it out of the corner and manufacture something.
Right.
Even though it's maybe even a lower percentage shot.
Well, look at this. Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just a little too thin.
Mm-hmm. I've seen Jack play before, and he's not on his feed,
You know, we've had a couple of matches like, I mean, Jim Shovak, but, you know, you have to give him some credit. He hasn't played in 8 months.
Right,
But he had a rough game yesterday on the live stream. You know, we've seen a couple people have rough games. Gary Eek had a bit of a rough game just now.
Well, and I think I've heard it, and I think I was on the chat room.
Wow, he got the billiard there. Yes, on the chat room.
You know, the last nationals and the last a year ago.
Yeah, yeah. When you and I got to meet each other.
Well,
online.
I think we were a little contentious, but sometimes good relationships start as contentious ones. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've never been on a chat room before until then.
Until that time.
Right. I was on 6 hours every day, I think. And
you were.
Geraldine cut me off twice.
You were.
And she had to explain the certain rules, the
there's
etiquette.
There's definitely an etiquette.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely an etiquette I discovered.
By the way, Dave Gross says hello to you.
Who?
Dave Gross.
Oh, David Gross.
Yeah, in Colorado,
we got
believe, right?
David, we got to get some people together and make sure. All right, they're going to turn this thing. They're going to spend. Well, you've read the thing, right? Okay, the Michigan Union.
Oh my goodness! What a lovely, lovely billiard from Jack.
He's embarrassed. He wasn't trying to play it that way.
You
so that's why.
I tell you what, I'd be more embarrassed that I'm just missing.
Right. The thing about shots like that, my friend Carl Conlon, rest in peace, he says, when you make a shot like that, the most important thing is to not smile afterwards.
Yeah.
You know. and again, run 6, right?
Yeah, run the 6 like you meant it.
Oh well.
There you go. For those just joining us, this is Daniel Busch. We're watching Berkey KESKIN versus Jack the Rack Leitzinger, and I'm sitting here with the great Dennis Dieckman. We can take any questions in the chat room. Or
I would prefer you called me
the Honorable Dennis Dieckman.
Well, I hope I behaved.
His Holiness.
Yes, I hope I behaved honorably all my life.
I think you have.
And you did mention that all the work I've done in the USBA, but they put me back on the board.
Oh, is that the case?
And I have a certain tasks that have been assigned to me.
Oh, okay.
And we won't go into those, but it's not. You know, any rate. You know, I've known Mason since he's 16 years old.
Yes, I know. You told me that last year. But let's enjoy this as a
okay.
As a
presentation. All right, let's pay attention to the game. We're not showing them too much respect here. But.
Dennis is talking about the United States Billiard Association, the governing body for 3-cushion billiards in the United States. And this is a USBA event. We're at the Casino del Sol in Tucson. Very, very fortunate, very happy to be here.
Oh, it's a superb venue,
our second year in a row here now. So.
Yep. Superb venue.
Yeah, it really is. Is that backing out? No.
No, but that's a legitimate shot to try to kind of back off and some things like that. It's kind of a weird shot.
Yeah. You know who is good at those is Joe D'Amato is good at those shots.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so is Mason, actually.
Well, yeah, and Joey and Mason go back. I think Mason went out to Boston in the early 90s. Wait, 2001 or 2, yeah. And he's been out in Boston ever since. Left Detroit. And Joey and Bobby Page helped him out when he started out there. And
I like Bobby as well. Bobby Page is nice.
Bobby's
nice guy.
He's a character. You should.
Everybody here has been so nice to me, you know. I mean, just you know, I run into them in the halls or down, you know, in another room somewhere. And Daniel, how are you doing? You know, can I get you anything? Or it's just been great, you know. And compliments, a lot of compliments, which are not needed, but you know, graciously appreciated.
And he's got, let's see, 560. He's playing a little over 6 right now.
I have to apologize. I have Berkey KESKIN at 13 points, but it's actually 12. So.
Oh, I think he's going. Well, I told you I wouldn't predict, but yeah, I thought he was going to go.
Play the ticky.
I think I
I think he's got it.
I think I taught him.
Taught him that shot?
Well, there's a ticky principle. That generally speaking, that wherever you're shooting from, that if wherever your cue is passing over the short rail, that's where the ball comes back to.
Oh, I see.
Okay, unless it kisses or something. And a lot of people don't know that. And
that's an interesting, that's a very interesting principle.
It's called the return of the ticky.
I see. It's a good shot.
And sometimes tickies repeat. You know, my record for tickies is 5 in a row.
That's crazy.
It is, but they call me Ticky Monster, or they used to, you know.
Dennis, Dave Gross says, did you know that the AUM union is closing the pool room?
Again, David, I think that you and we need to get together with a lot of other people. There's a thread on AZ Billiards about that, and I'll tell you what happened. A female who's like the president of some big student organization, been lobbying for a couple of years, and you know they're going to do a 2-year renovation, $85 million. So you know it's going to cost 100. Very nice.
Wow, that was very close.
Boy, very nice effort. Very nice effort. But I think we need to organize a committee because they're just going to turn it into student offices. Okay. Now the reasoning is the billiard hall has been losing money at the University of Michigan, and it's.
Dave said he started that thread on AZ.
Okay,
yep.
Good. David's a good man. David is a good man. And I will check in on that thread. I just found out about it today. But, and David, you may not know, at one time, I was on the board of directors of the Michigan Union. And so their premise is that they're getting rid of the billiard hall because it hasn't lost any money. That there's only foreign players playing in it. And, you know, there's no, you know, and it's, I don't know. But so they're going to turn it into office space, which they will give free to some sort of, you know, stupid student organization, of which there's 1,500 at the University of Michigan, is what the story said.
Oh, I see.
In the Michigan Daily.
So you're saying it's kind of it's excess,
right? And but so now they're not going to charge any rent for that square footage. So it's you know, I mean it's the silliest thing, and they say, oh, we're going to just move the tables. Oh, I think Mr. KESKIN has got a nice shot there. Yeah. I'm going to predict this one. If this guy doesn't shoot this double the rail off the red, he's crazy. Okay? Finally,
you like that? You like the double the rail?
Oh, yeah, double the rail off the red. This is the only logical shot. Now, it's the only shot I predicted so far.
Look at this. He played it.
Well, he hit it.
He played it
too hard and too thick.
With the force follow.
A little too hard and a little too thick. He didn't. He just needed a thin hit and spinach, or a little mustard.
Don't make me hungry.
Yeah.
20 innings now.
13, so you multiply it by 5, and he's averaging 65.65.
Yes,
that's respectable for this field. That would, if you could average that for the whole
tournament, you'd probably
you'd
be in the top 4, top 8.
You'd be in the finals at least.
Yeah. Well, okay.
You know, for sure you'd be in the finals. Can you believe he's allowing me to do this? I'm sure you're going to get chastised later. later.
I trust you've had a little time to talk to Geraldine and get acquainted.
Ooh, a little too hard. If he'd hit a little softer, it would have floated a little more down the table. And he certainly didn't have to hit it that hard to make it. But
such a new cloth. I mean, the harder you hit these balls, the more they're going to slide.
Right, right. And it's, yeah, the new cloth is really, I'd prefer to play on cloth that's, you know, a month old or something, you know, and have it changed every 6 months.
Yeah.
But I've
look at this. It almost
he's
smiling.
Jack is at least smiling. You know, he's at least smiling.
He's probably saying, "I almost played a timing shot there."
Right.
Oh.
He's just so happy to be here. I think, you know, and playing in this. I mean, this is such a gorgeous. I mean, I can't, you know, believe what the situations I've played in. And
we don't really want to hear about all that now, do we?
I know. I don't want to tell stories.
That's a separate interview.
Right.
Which I'm happy to conduct, by the way. So.
Well. No. There had to have been a different shot there someplace. I don't know, but that.
Dave Gross asked, "Did you pay for Mercedes' entry fee to this tournament?"
If you'd read, David, if you'd read the flyer, it said, "Ladies, play free."
I think that was actually a leading question because we actually spoke about this yesterday on the. Dave Gross is of the opinion, and actually so am I, that we should have kept the entry fees strictly based on the level of skill,
right?
As opposed to just saying, you know, ladies can play free. It's a bit of a double standard.
Well, in that we also played to a lady by the name of Esther Park, who is a cousin of Olivia Lee, who was Sang Lee's daughter. I mean, is Sang Lee's daughter. And both Olivia and Esther played in the Women's National Championship. And the USBA has sent Esther at least to Turkey, I think at least 2 times, maybe 3, to play in the World's Ladies Championship to represent our country.
That's baklava.
I know what it. Well, no, this is not baklava. This is something else.
It's okay.
You know, when Mason used to come to my shop, when I still had one, he would come out and bribe me with a thing like this from Greek Travel. Listen, it had 10 different kinds.
Oh, I know. I buy it by the pound in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
I love that stuff.
Gracias, amiga. But yeah, this has got honey. It's real close. You know?
You're going to make our audience hungry. Berkey is anxious to finish up. Okay. It's now 15-6, and we're on inning 24. So, and Jack needs to show up to the match. That's all I can kind of say right now. He needs to roll call, Jack. Roll call. Needs to show up.
And the strange thing at this level of play that someone can go absolutely brain dead for 20 innings and not score a point.
Yes, I've seen.
And the other person can just come alive, right? I mean, either one of these guys are subject to probably run an 8 or, you know, I don't know what their high runs are, but, you know, and but they're on the TV table. They're perhaps a little nervous being on the TV table. You know that.
You know that comes up a lot.
Yeah, and I think.
But I think unless you see somebody who's noticeably nervous, noticeably shaky, for the most part, I think these players they tend to forget the camera's even on.
Right.
They start getting into the match. We see those first few. We see the jitters happen. Usually the first few innings, but it's been pretty good. But in Jack's case, you might be right. He might come up to us later and just say, you know, this camera's made me so nervous.
Well, you know, in the last, since I started building cues, I'm not a cue maker, I'm a cue builder.
Yes.
But, excuse me. That I found when I played in a tournament once or twice a year, that the first game, the first 15 innings or so, I got rubbery legs. I was shaking like I had Parkinson's. It's like, oh, okay. And I mean, it's, and then you, suddenly it, you know, it's okay now. But it's, and believe me, I have a lot of experience, and I've, if I win a game, my goal, if I play in another tournament, is to lose every game scoring no points. Okay? Say I'm 0-7, but I have never scored a point in any of those 7 games.
Right.
I'm in the Guinness World Book of Records.
You are?
No, if I did that.
Okay.
If.
Sure.
Think about that, right?
Well, it's like there are 5 tickies in a row. That's
how many?
One.
Yeah, I mean, even, you know.
Are you living in Florida, Dennis?
No, I live in Virginia now.
Okay.
It's odd. It's a place I lived in there in 75, 77. And I was married to my first wife. It was a strange thing. We were married 11 years. And she was down there teaching at a little college.
Okay.
And I was starting making sawdust. And then I came back and, you know, I was doing golf too. I'm a big-time gambler at golf.
Okay.
And
thanks for letting me know now.
Yeah. Well, you could. You know, Bill Stroud's ducked me. Steve Miserak has ducked me.
Oh yeah.
On the golf course.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. And I've offered to play them 9
You still
balls.
playing?
I'm physically unable to.
I would imagine 9 holes is probably real tough for you.
I'm physically unable to.
Oh, can I help you?
I did it.
Okay.
Took the. I mean, but sometimes, you know, I mean, it's just.
Sure.
You know, it's like I have my good days and my bad days. You know.
Yeah. Well, you're a Vietnam vet, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
How many tours did you do?
I was there from June of 1967 till April of 1970.
My goodness.
And
you were there the whole time, or did you do?
Well, I had two leaves back to the States, and Singapore, Sydney, Australia,
right?
You know, Penang, and
but always back to.
Oh yeah, in the same place.
Yeah.
And I was in the Air Force, but I was a forward air controller. We flew these little tiny planes called bird dogs, propeller driven. And we put in airstrikes in support of the South Vietnamese Army Division.
Sure.
So I lived with the Vietnamese.
Okay.
And incidentally, the guys NGYUN,
Win. Yeah. Win.
Yeah, it's pronounced Nguyen.
Okay.
The N, it's difficult
Win.
for dare I use the term round eyes to pronounce.
Well, in California we just say win.
Well, yeah, that's but it's actually Nguyen.
Yeah.
It's and I still can count up to 5 in
Look at this
Vietnamese.
ticking.
Oh, beautiful.
Well, no, it didn't happen.
Didn't make.
Yeah. It was a bank. It was an umbrella bank,
Yeah. Which are very low percentage,
Yeah.
Just I won't.
Did they play? Did you play billiards in Vietnam? Because I know there was a lot of French there, so.
Actually, I was in 3 Corps in Long Con Province, a place called Swan Lock, where the last biggest battle of the war took place in early April 1975. And, I mean, we're talking tanks, aircraft on both sides, and 17,000 died in 3 weeks. I've been back there and seen the cemetery.
Oh, my goodness.
That was not.
That's like a small Holocaust.
It was the biggest battle of the war, and nobody probably knows about it because it was all involved just with Vietnamese. They were
South and North.
There could have been a couple Americans there, but they were real spooky. That would be the case. But no, this
they shouldn't have been there, is what you're saying.
What the North Vietnamese said, Sun Lac was the gate to Saigon.
Okay.
Even though Cambodia was only like 30 miles, but the Sun Lac was the gate because it came right down the highway, and they were basically holding out on the orders of the Saigon bosses, so the bosses in Saigon could get all their gold out.
Yeah.
Once that happened,
I get you.
And it really is. It's just, I don't know.
Well, we've seen this all too often, Dennis, in this particular event. High runs in the beginning, and off to a great start, but then the closeout is where the problem. And this is where the averages come into play.
Right, and this is where people get really nervous. I'd rather have my opponent in the 1 hole, and I need, say, 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
Because when
you like coming from behind like that.
Well, when your opponent's in the 1 hole, it's like
the pressure's on them.
Oh, it's the pressure can be unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's
unnerving. Yeah.
Right, and the pressure.
I'm seeing it.
And the pressure.
I mean, I agree with you 100% because I'm seeing this.
And it's internal pressure.
Yes, it's psychological.
And I played this guy, Dwight Cohen, once in Niles, Michigan, on his own tables in a tournament, and he had me 24 to 18. We're going to 25. And I turned to him and I said, Dwight, he's a good friend of mine. He bought a few cues for me, so it's not like I'm trying to shark him or anything. But I said, Dwight, you've been really playing well. And he was playing really well. But I finally focused on the situation. All I need to do was run 7 and out. 2 innings later, I did.
Well, there you go.
That's one of my best outs ever. Few and far between, I might add. But they're both, they're. Let's see where he goes on this one.
Well, he does have a big ball.
Right. Yeah. Well, it could be a little bigger if it's an inch or 2 more off the rail. Yeah.
Well,
but it's not that bad.
This guy's pretty talented.
I think he's got this fellow.
Yeah, he's in.
Yep. I think. And look at where the red ball went.
Yeah.
If he learned, I'm sure he learned. If this gentleman is Turkish, I'm sure he learned when he was young, maybe, or something, because they have a great training system in Turkey.
Do they really?
Yeah. It's like the Vietnamese do too. When I was there in 2005, I'm reading in the English.
When you say training system, what do you really mean?
Well, they they take kids just like the Russians did in gymnastics when they're 12, 13 years old, and hopefully they don't drug them up.
Hop them up with steroids.
But they put them through, you know, I mean, and like in, you know, but the Vietnamese established this, and it's run by the state.
Interesting.
It's funded by the state.
Yeah.
And there's a similar system in Korea.
I think in Korea and in
and
you know, parts of China and Taiwan too.
Well,
if
China,
I'm not mistaken.
China is working on
starting to pick up on that. Yeah.
Okay, and Taiwan sort of. I left my phone in my room. Okay, but
Dennis is just being. He's pretty popular here, so a lot of people talking to him. Mercedes is just getting his attention. Back with you now, Dennis.
Now, I think the Koreans are actually maybe corporate sponsored rather than than government.
There you go.
But for sure, the Vietnamese, it's a sort of a government program, and I mean the Europeans sort of do that too. They'll take kids when they're 12, 13 years old, and they'll pick a class. The Spanish, there's a guy named Jose Maria. Quit class. It's a great instructor. I mean, he took Danny Sanchez when he was 12, 13 years old, and we know who Danny Sanchez is now.
Yes.
Right? You know, so. And this Jose Marie quit class, they have a Olympic training center that's sponsored by the Spanish government, and that's all he does. And the kids are not in residence, but they come a few times a year and go through an intensive instructional system.
Sure, like an academy of some kind.
Right. Okay. You know what the first thing they do? Quit classes system. Puts one ball on the table. He has them shoot it 1, 2, 3, short, long, short, and then come back, and they better park
to the same spot where they started.
Yeah, or real awful close.
I like that a lot.
Okay, now, once they can do that, then they put a ball here and a ball here, and now you got to shoot that ball
to hit the ball
and come back.
Oh, I see.
To the same spot. Okay, and once you can do that, then they'll put the third ball on the table. Okay, it's like black belts, you know. I mean, it's like karate.
Yeah. They teach you in a gradient level of education.
Yeah, it's not like a straight line thing. It's more like steps.
Yeah.
And one of my first teacher, he always told me, you're never gonna go up like this. You're gonna go and
plateaus.
Then, okay, and he was right. He was right.
It's true. I've experienced it myself. You know, just with my own, playing, because there was a time in my life I took this game seriously.
Yep.
As a player. And then I got hustled.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's almost like part of being human, isn't it? When you're a pool player, what pool player has not been hustled before? Even the best hustlers get hustled.
Right. Oh yeah. Ooh, look at how thin that was, and this could. No. It was. Oh my goodness.
So, meanwhile, Jack is creeping back up. It's now 16-8.
Right, in the innings of.
And the innings are climbing. We're up to like 30.
Right, and
7 innings now.
Well, see, sometimes again, the mental thing, when you're, you sort of know what your average is, internally,
yes.
and suddenly you're playing twice. You're 400 and you're playing 800.
Yeah.
Mentally, in your mind, you start thinking, Oh, I got to start playing like
my
oops, I almost said a bad word. I almost said a bad word.
I better stall a little.
And it's the game is so psychological, you know?
It is.
And these guys they are good players despite their average.
Yeah.
All right? It's just I
agree with you.
You know. No. Yes. No.
No.
He had too much spin on that. If it was flattened out, if he had like curved it into there and come in with just high spin instead of side spin, he could have made that. But that's a technique sort of thing. And this, without being too critical, a lot of players at this level, they're thinking in terms of off the object ball straight line, and that
like a tangent line.
Well, that's what creates kisses. Right? You must, instead of going on the tangent line, if you want to get to this point, you have to go like this or like this. You must make the ball curve. You even have to make the second ball curve if you can, and that requires great stroke and talent. But if you're thinking in straight lines, and this is why I don't like the number system, because that's what it forces you into, this straight line geometrical stuff, and that's good. But
that's good if you're hitting the ball straight all the time.
When you're learning the game, but once you start playing, and I've in building cues, I had the great fortune. Oh, I think Jack should. Come on, Jack. I think you. Oh, right. Is this? Oh, whew. Man, I thought that might have gone in the corner and not made. Ooh. It's tough to see, a little bit what the angle is, but. See, and I might do something goofy, like go 2 rails to the red here without, Okay. And then when you do that, your opponent says, oh, you've never seen that shot before. Yeah. Right.
No, you don't know that one?
See, now look at that. See, he hit it too thin.
Yeah.
Impossible, right? Nope. No, I've had the privilege of, over the years, because I'm building cues, and I'm, people seem to have thought they hit pretty good, but...
Are you still building, Dennis?
No, I haven't done it in 4 years. I just am physically, don't have the strength to do it.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot to build a cue. I mean, with the exposure that I've had to the cue makers that I've worked with, and working extensively over at Tiger Products,
Right.
I just see.
Tony and Ilya. Those two.
I love it. I'm there all the time. I live 5 minutes away from.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're good. They're really super folks.
Yeah. And I just see what goes into it.
Yeah.
It's just.
But so at any rate, I've been exposed to a lot of good players.
Sure.
Because they want to, kind of suck up to me and get a real cheap price on a cue, and they're going to make me famous and things like this.
You're
right?
Terrible.
But and I love them all, right? Yeah. But as a result, I have they've showed me some secrets.
Sure.
Frank Torres, Alan Gilbert. Harry Sims. Mike Donnelly. I can name a zillion million. Bobby Amin. And I think they're all dead now.
Oh, you've outlived them all, huh?
Well, yeah, barely. But, and
this is the first billiard we've seen in I think about 9 innings. No, actually, that's
well.
Not
They're
true.
up,
Jack had a billiard.
They're up to 40. So now all you got to do is multiply it by 2.5. So Mr. Keskin is now playing 2.5 times 17 is 20, 34, which is half of what he was averaging, in the first 25 innings or so.
Yeah.
So he's
averaged out. He's leveled out his
yeah,
average.
but he's in run-out range now for sure.
He is.
And Jack has got to just focus. Get down and stay down. Now, he stayed down real nice on that shot. A little short, I think, but he stayed down on it. And Jack tends to, the billiards he's made, he just sort of parks himself against the ball. Now, Carlos Hallen would do that, but he could then get the thinnest of the thinnest hits. You know, but you usually want to hit your scoring ball so you with just a little speed. You know, it's like you're hitting a golf putt. You know, if you miss it, you want to be 6 feet or 6 inches past the hole,
right,
rather than 3 or 4 feet. You know, or and
he's banking.
And this is not a, you know, I'm sorry. I think he's thinking of going off the yellow and hitting the red, and that's.
You mean yellow and then umbrella off into the red?
Yeah, and that's okay.
He hit the yellow fine.
If I have a student,
hit the wrong side of it though.
No, if I have a student and they're shooting that shot, I will say, okay, here I'll set it up for you.
How do you want
50 times,
yeah,
50 times, and see what the percentage is.
Yeah.
All right, and it's like when I was teaching golf, I was one of the first ones that used video, and I tell you, you know, people say, "No, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that." Well, hello.
The power of video.
Here, you want to watch the video? Yeah, and now.
I can't tell you how often I'm asked, you know, hey, can I have a copy, or when's it going on YouTube, because I really want to see what I'm doing wrong.
I mean, you should sell copies to the.
We do. I mean, I have flash drives. You know, not a lot if I buy them though.
Well,
you know?
Do they know they're available?
Yeah, they do for the most part. They do.
See, if this has been 30,
and if they do buy them, they want a discount. I'm like, what are you talking?
It's called cheap Charlies.
I know, right?
Billiard players are the cheapest Charlies in the world.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
No, they have very good hearts. You know,
I wouldn't say they're cheap. I'd just say they're broke. You know.
No. But they just don't part with their money. You know. Ooh. Oh.
Hello. Yeah. Curtsy from Jack the Rack. Isn't that like the third time?
But see, now this is when he's got to run a 6.
Yeah, well,
okay?
that's what
or
you say
4,
every time.
or a 4, or a 3.
Yeah.
He's got to. Come on, Jack. All right, leave the white ball on the rail. Okay, play off the red. Okay, and you can snap it and come around there. But he's taken the white ball off, and this is not a bad tactical. This is a bad tactical decision here. He may make the shot. If he makes it, then it's a good tactical decision. But
if he gets the next,
he may have.
No.
Yep. No, boy, but that was. I mean,
it.
he had to bury that in the corner. See?
Yeah, he really did.
And now, his opponent is not on the rail. You know.
Yeah.
I used to play in
hindsight is a great.
Well, yes, hindsight
teacher.
Is. Yeah. You know, and hope is never the solution. Also. Now, I used to play in Omaha. And there was this one guy, older guy, that would come in every day and play golf on a 5x10 snooker, and I'd come in and play on a billiard table, which is one of the crummiest tables I've ever played on. It was the only table in town. But anyway, I don't care what was happening. You know, if my opponent was on the rail and I was shooting at the opponent's ball on the rail, and God, I can't remember this guy's name, but I hear this voice. He says, "Don't ever take your opponent off the rail." From 30 feet across the room, he had eyes in the back of his head.
That's funny.
You know, but that's a good, you know, if you've got an option and your opponent's dead on the rail.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, if the red ball's really, really big, yeah. But if there's, then leave your opponent on the rail.
Yeah.
You know?
They do, I mean, Dennis, I mean, admittedly, I'm, a more experienced pool player, so, a lot of lessons I have gleaned over the years have been from, games like one pocket, 9-ball, and straight pool, so, and 8-ball as well, but, they do say that in one pocket, keep your opponent on the rail at all times.
You're a cue sport artist, sort of,
basically.
And was snooker your first game?
Snooker was my first game.
That's what I thought. I thought
when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
And just merely by exposure, because I was from Britain, so.
Oh, two.
I'm surprised you remembered that, Dennis.
Well, you don't have an accent.
No, I don't. That's why I'm surprised you remembered.
No, I've got Asperger's. There's some things I never forget.
See, no wonder. That's how it all unfolded. Last year.
Yeah, one of the things that you sort of have a photographic memory, not for everything, but for maybe certain things. Some people are really good in mathematics. Some people are, like I. By God, he might have got a 3 here. Come on, Jack. Come on. Oh, these are Gabriels tables. You know how many people you meet at one of these things, right? But I can always remember a face, and I can never remember the guy's or girl's name. However, I can usually remember their hometown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, but hey.
There we go.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That did hit.
Berkey got the
That did hit.
There, yeah.
You could see the white ball change direction just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not going to lie either,
Okay, this one is a must-make. This is a must-make.
He overspun it. He spun it too much.
Oh, well. Yeah, I can't imagine what's going through his head. I mean, it's. Okay, he just looked at the score. Right? That's when your opponent does that. Oh, you're multitasking here.
Yeah.
You're running the computers, talking to me, and texting. Thank God you're not driving. Jack. Oh, Jack. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What's happening here? If he can squeak by that yellow ball, he's going to force follow this for double the rail, I think. Said I wouldn't predict, but oh, no, he's just hitting it thin, and he made it. He needs one. Needs one. Oh, and he's got the yellow ball. Oh, I think the game is over, you think? No. Oh, man. How did he shoot that? How did he shoot that red ball around there?
Pretty good, if you ask me.
I don't think he knew where the red ball was going, but good game, fellas.
All right. Well, you're welcome to come back any other time. Even tomorrow, or we still have a couple more days of this event. I know you've had fun.
Oh yeah, this has been. I feel like Bob Byrne, for God's sakes.
Oh Lord.
Except now, Bobby and I had our issues, but
don't get delusional.
He was
just kidding.
I loved the guy.
Yeah,
I love the guy.
The guy's a legend.
I love the guy. And. So.
Well, listen, Dennis, it's been great having you with us.
So, shall I bid you adieu and bonjour and mañana, senor?
Yes, hasta mañana.
All right.
Mañana. Yeah, yes. You guys have fun for the rest of your night, and I'm going to find out. I know I have another match coming up, but I'm going to let you go because I know that you have Mercedes waiting in the wings.
Sort of, but
So thanks again, Dennis. If anybody needs to get in touch with you, do you want to leave a? Do you have a website or an email or something, or?
Well, I'm on Facebook.
Yeah.
You can Google me. If you Googled cue maker,
yeah,
I will be second or third on the first page.
Oh, really?
And it's my website is cuemaker.com, even though I'm a cue builder. And it's really a crummy website, but it doesn't sell anything. It just provides information.
Sure.
You can find me on Facebook, you know.
And how?
And YouTube.
D-E-I-C-K, correct?
No, D-I-E.
D-I-E-C-K-M-A-N.
Right. Pronounced freak. Dieckman, I mean.
Dieckman.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Dieckman, I want to thank you for sitting in during this match. And it's been a pleasure for me and an honor. And we'll have you again tomorrow.
I will be here with my spurs on.
Okay, good.
No, you, sir, you have honored me by. You know, I haven't had a shower in 3 days.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention that, but anywho.
Yeah, I got it.
We're gonna go. Thanks a lot, Dennis, and thank you guys out there. I'm gonna get another match going in just a minute. Dennis is gonna get going, and don't go anywhere, everybody. We're gonna have another match coming up shortly.
Wayne Cox versus Ellis Lawrence.
You hear it now. It's Wayne Cox versus Ellis Lawrence, and we'll be right back to start that match. Don't go.